The Muslim population is advised by Sirah and Hadith to cooperate, collaborate, capitulate to the majority. And I think there's a lesson for us in that unity. What is the problem today in India? There are all the time an accusation that politicians are, appeasing the minority, they are appeasing them to get votes, it's vote bank politics, so on. Well, I have talked to those politicians, like Maulam Singh, and I told him, what is this that you're doing? So he said, well, I can't get elected unless the Muslims vote for me. Because the Hindus will only vote, only Yadavas will vote for me. Others will not vote for me. So therefore I have to appease them. And the day the Hindus vote as one block, that day I will put on a tikka and say, Jai Shri Ram, and come out of my house. Because I am interested in getting vote, and this is the way to get it. And I am telling you today that all this appeasement talk that you people are condemning, I see people condemning politicians for that. I am telling you that the day the Hindus will unite, all these politicians will change around. And they will start talking in terms of Hindus and what should be done for them. We are 80% or 80 plus, even today. And if of this half the population decides to vote for a party which stands for Hindus, that party will get more than majority of the seats. Majority is 272, but according to my calculation, you'll get 320 seats in the 544-member House of Parliament. So how is the Muslim responsible for our plight? It is we, for lack of unity, for lack of ability to vote, at least once, twice, as Hindus, and say that we, for the sake of protection of our civilization, we are going to vote for a party which will work for our interests. Certainly that party cannot be Congress, because the Congress today has been taken over by Sonia Gandhi, who is answerable only to the Vatican, and she promotes Christian missionary activity. We are not against Christians. Christians can propagate as much as they like in India, but we don't want foreign missionaries to come here to India and poke their noses into our internal affairs. But she abets them, she brings them, so obviously voting for them is useless. The only grouping which can possibly work for Hindu interests would be the NDA, and there of course I'm hard at work. Certainly I can tell you, if both Modi and myself get together inside I'm already there, but in terms of decision making, there should be no doubt in anybody's mind that Hindu interests will not suffer.
What is your position? You're talking about neighbors. What is your position on Pakistan?
Can we talk of Delhi right now? We will
so
talk
this
of
is an
Pakistan
important issue
China
because
Iran and
there
Iraq
have been terror attacks in the capital.
Lok Sabha elections.
So there have been.
No, I know it's an important issue.
No, there have been terror attacks in the capital.
I completely agree with you. So,
and that's why I'm asking you, because security of the
I completely
Delhi
agree with you. So
is
as far
important.
as I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Security of Delhiites is extremely important. But let me just try to remind you that in Delhi, Delhi police is in the hands of the central government. The security of Delhi is in the hands of the central government. So you should put this question to the Home Minister of India.
Okay, you're talking about the Home Minister. What do you think of Mr. Shinde writing a letter to the Chief Ministers and urging them not to carry out wrongful arrests of minorities, Muslims for instance?
Can I bring you back to Delhi?
Okay.
Can I please bring you back to Delhi?
Okay, so you have no comments on the larger
issue? We will talk of all this. We will talk of all this in December.
Okay, fine. Let me talk about then.
We will talk of larger issues in December.
Okay, let me talk about Delhi.
Just want to understand what is the motive of your entire interview.
No motive, sir.
I want to understand
No
what is the
motive,
motive
sir.
of your interview.
No motive, sir.
I
Unless
thought
you
that just
attribute
now
a motive.
elections have been announced, and
Mr.
we are
Kejriwal,
talking of
only
Delhi
trying to
elections.
get to know you a
I
little
thought you
better.
were, I thought we are talking because I have a press conference.
Yes, I have only got 3 more questions for you, sir. We are talking about corruption, we are talking about issues related to corruption. But you know, oh well, we seem to have lost Mr. Kejriwal there. He seems to want to address the press. He of course left questioning our motives, but as you could see, it was a direct interview seeking his views on the bigger national issues of the day.
My elders, I stated before, they were Kashmiri Brahmins. My grandfather, though a pious Muslim, he still thought he was a Brahmin. He had the cheek to say that. My father and my uncles, they didn't care about these things. They were just Muslim like everybody else. I was myself very anti-Hindu. In 1947, I played hell with the non-Muslims. Then one night when I slept, I was Muslim. When I woke up next morning, I was a Hindu. I don't know what it is. I was upset. I wanted to know the reason. Eventually, the special word I forget at the moment, which show that you carry the genes of not only your parents, but you carry ancestral genes as well. And occasionally they wake up, they rise up, and you begin to copy your ancestors. I think this is what happened. I have no other explanation. Then I read the Vedas and I knew, no, I am on the right line. It took me 20 years to write the book Vedic Civilization. Without determination, it wouldn't have been possible. My business was doing very, very well some 20 years ago or 25 years ago. I just packed it in. I wanted to do the work which I am doing, and I am glad I have no money, but I still live like a lord, and that is good enough for me. I don't want to hold money. I have done my best for my children. They should look after themselves. Nobody.
Would you like, at the end of your journey, to be cremated or buried?
Cremated. I got my wife, but she's a Christian. She didn't like the idea of my being cremated. I have begged her to please have been cremated. I have my daughter in London. I have begged her to make sure that her mother, that is my wife, cremates me. That answers your question?
Yes.
All my ancestors were cremated. There was a custom in all advanced countries that those big people, they were cremated, but the poor people were buried. So it's a good way of becoming a big man, isn't it? But if you have to speak the truth, there is only one way. You can't mince it.
Yeah. You can mince it, yes.
You can't. 2 and 2 makes 4. You can't say, oh, it is quarter to quarter. And 3 or it is 5. You have to stand up and state the truth. There is no other way. It always carries some risk. If you can't take the risk, don't bother. I'm willing to think good of India, include them, but those who are not, give them ultimatum. Move to Pakistan, or go back to Arabia. No, you are here, you are respecting this house.
Yes.
Now, if you don't, well, I can't be hospitable. If India is not their country, why are they there?
That's true.
Generation after generation, Hindus have taken no action against it.
When you say that Islam doesn't make sense, or you cannot realize God through Islam,
You can't.
why is that there's such a big following? Why is it such a big religion?
Why there are so many fools in the world? He's going to get me killed.
Why is that Islam is so fundamentalist? Why? For what reason is it? It is.
Islam is the collection of certain principles. Unless you follow them, you have no right to call yourself a Muslim. It is sticking to those principles which makes you fundamentalist. But these people have eased everything for themselves, that if you do what the Prophet did, you are a Muslim, otherwise you are not. Now the Prophet waged so many jihad. Jihad means fighting with sword. Not the way the Muslim pretend that it means
The higher jihad.
yeah, that is the only jihad. The rest is just a definition they have made. Now sustenance means this. No, you can't call breathing a sustenance, though it may be called, but that is not real sustenance, is it? And since these people are so frustrated now, they can't make headway anyway, so they are become more and more fundamentalist. The fact that they blow themselves off, no sane person can do that. You got to be completely upset to do this thing. You got only one life, this is why you are inclined to defend yourself. The person who is going to blow himself off is not a normal person, is he? But this is the result of fundamentalism.
But do you think Islam creates this abnormality in a person's mind?
Yes, it does. For example, Islam teaches hatred of non-Muslims. Now, if I begin to believe you are not human, I am not going to love you. I am not going to think of you as my equal. No, this is the basic philosophy of Islam, that everybody who is not a Muslim is not human. He should be subdued. He must be made to make a taxpayer, a humble, obedient servant. Now with this philosophy, you can't do anything but to hurt those who do not practice what you practice. And all these things I have stated in my book called Islam and Terrorism.
But would you not support a peace-loving Muslim, and if he offers 5 days namaz? So
Oh no,
do you think there's
that
anything wrong with
that
that?
is just a ritual, that is a personal ritual.
Okay.
It is the same thing. If you are a drinker, if you get whiskey, you feel better. If you don't get whiskey, you feel restless. That is just a ritual. Now, when I was a Muslim, unless I prayed 5 times, I couldn't sleep at night.
Okay.
But when I had a change of opinion, then it was a different thing altogether.
Do you think Muslims worship the same God as Hindus and other people do?
No.
Because I feel they worship an Asura actually.
Because Islam does not believe there is any other God except Allah. Now, if you want me to explain what Allah is, if I explain it now, there will be riots. So, in a roundabout way, again, Muslims do not, they believe, sincerely believe that God is one, but in actual effect, God is not one. You want to know, because this is a very important statement, what they call kalma, which
La ilaha
means
illallah.
there is no God but Allah. But the tragedy is, if you believe in Allah, you don't become a Muslim. Hindus believe in Allah, God. Christians believe in God. So many other people in God, but they still don't qualify as Muslim. Believe in Muhammad. Now, which one is more important, Muhammad or Allah? Unless you believe in Muhammad, you cannot become Muslim. And if you are not a Muslim, you go to hell. So if Allah cannot save you from going to hell, what kind of Allah is He?
True.
Pointing on Him.
He himself
He
told
said,
me.
you do 4 wives, whereas I can do 13, or as many as I can get. But what kind of law is this?
Well, one of his wives was 8 years old.
Aisha.
Aisha, is it?
That's a controversy. They said she is
No,
16-year-old.
no, there is no controversy. The hadith clearly says that she was 6 years old.
6 years old.
Yeah, when he married her. And they also claim that you have to ask the consent of the woman whom you want to marry. What does a 6-year-old woman know about marriage?
But they claim she was 16.
They tell lies they have made. Oh, they even don't know how to tell lies. Aisha know about these things to say, yes, I know about her marriage. No, he married her when she was 6. So obviously a woman has no say in the marriage, in the matters of marriage. Now these people have made up stories which they cannot back up. Now if you analyze Islam, one wonders.
How is it that Islam overran so many civilizations within 50 to 100 years of its creation? Iran was gone.
That's
On
a
the other
good
side,
question. That is a very good question. Tell me now, how is it that Genghis Khan, in 50 years, he murdered half the humanity?
But he didn't manage to destroy the cultures. Islam overran civilizations as such.
Because it was not his business. He wanted to rule people. Whereas Islam wanted to destroy culture to establish its own culture. This is the real difference. Islam itself is the ambassador of a certain way of living, which means a different culture. Unless you do destroy the existing culture, you cannot impose a new culture. It is the same thing. If your car is green and you want to make it black, you have to go over the black to give it new color. You can't allow the black color to show
Is
itself.
there a threat from the Muslims in India to the Hindus or to the entire nation? Is there a potential threat of the Muslims?
Now you can be sure I am glad you were not born at that time when I was born. You are going to have another revolution the way we had in 1947. The truth is, no matter what these Muslims say, in chapter 2 of the Quran, God says Allah is the enemy of non-Muslims and He wants their destruction. So His followers are going to destroy all non-Muslims. Their population is growing fast, and before long they will want to, no, they can't live with any non-Muslim. They drove out all non-Muslims from the Punjab. Even they have driven out all the non-Muslims from Kashmir, never mind anything else. So they are going to make another claim that we want this part of India, Pakistan or something else, and there will be the civil wars again. It is not only India, in fact, the whole world faces this danger because there is no such thing as democracy in Islam. Islam advocates government of God, whereas democracy is the government of the people. What will happen is, when the population of the Muslims of India increases, they will rule India by force of their vote. But I'm sure the Hindus are going to resist. So that democracy will go out of the window. That will be might is right. And if Hindus can muster some power, they will survive. Otherwise, they will become slaves of the Muslims forever.
But Hindus will have to muster power not in just physical sense only, but in a
Oh, no, I
political
don't-
sense.
That is whatever
This
is
is
God
most
power, they will have to that. Physical power has got its own significance, but these days, intellectual power, power of the brain, power of discipline are far more important than the physical power. You can carry 1 mound of rice on your shoulder, but if you have a crane, you can carry 20 mound, one person. So, power means so many things. No, it is no good, to start with, it is no good for the Hindus to fight Muslims, they should all be Indians. But as it is the tradition of the Muslim that they can't live with non-Muslim. If they live, they have to impose their rule. So that will lead to similar trouble what people had in 1947.
Usually what they say is that no, Islam is good. Muslims have distorted it.
Whether Muslim, no, look, this is pappardom, say bread. If it looks like banana, no matter what it is banana, isn't it? If they are distorted Islam, it is no longer Islam what they practice. So you don't need it. Now, where is the true Islam? Show me. The tragedy of Islam is all those nations which are Muslim, they all are backward. They are disunited, they are backward. You see all the bombers, they
Suicide bombers.
bombers, they all are Muslim. Hindus don't have terrorists. No, they should have some of them. No, that is true, because we live in an age of violence.
What do you have to say about the secular people in India? There's a big intellectual class which poses to be secular
Now where?
in India.
They are
The Hindus-
secular as long as that suits them. You bring Islam in and they will lose all the secularism. The Muslim can be very highly intelligent people. When it comes to religion, they just become a flop. They can't argue because they have been brainwashed right from the beginning. Now, I could give you many examples, but I think it will be better. I don't say much about it. They are totally brainwashed people. And this brainwashing started right from the beginning. The Prophet Muhammad was a great psychologist. And I say this with a lot of respect and not to blacken his character. Now, I saw a program on the television, British television, long time ago. There are geese, you know, you know what geese is? These birds
Ah,
yeah,
look
geese.
like ducks
Yeah.
and they fly as well. A man, wherever he went, they flew after him. And he said, this is what is called imprinting. That when these birds, the first person they see as they come out of their eggs, they think that person for their father or mother. So whatever the father or mother that person goes, they follow him. The Prophet Muhammad knew this principle. This is the reason once a Muslim baby is born, they cry azan in his or her ear. They say loud, Allah is one and Muhammad is Prophet. So this is the first influence to brainwash the Muslim babies. And then you have to circumcise, and yet these people pretend that every baby is born a Muslim. I think it is the other way around. If he is born a Muslim, why do you have to circumcise him? The fact that they circumcise him, it shows that babies are not born as Muslims, they are born as humans.
And afterwards, there's
That is cruel. No, but they won't stop it. Because this is a part of their brainwashing.
barbaric.
Highly.
This issue of religious demography, coming back to it, there are some Muslim countries which have implemented family planning and other.
That is against Islam.
Turkey, for example.
They are because they are secularized.
Even Iran does it.
Because it is necessary, they can't raid other countries to settle their people there anymore. So they have realized they can always misinterpret to say, well, that this is birth control is a part of Islam. They can prove anything from Islam. It has nothing to do with Islam. This is an anti-Islamic. It shows that Islam is not holding good. It is not holding on its own.
But why is it that Indian Muslims keep resisting this? Even though it is...
Because there is nobody to check them. They know we can do to the Hindus whatever they like.
They told you to check them.
Now if there was an open door, any thief can come in. But if there was a doorman there, hey, you can't come in, they will think twice. And with democracy in India, Hindu leaders want their vote and they pamper them. They are going to destroy democracy in India. Now democracy, as I have argued in my book, the Vedic civilization, was not born in Greece, it was born in India. And I have quoted extensively from the Vedas. No, this is the Indian way of life, democracy. This is why they are taken to it so kindly. All Hindus want to be democrats, don't they?
Yeah.
And now they are abusing their way of life. To them, a woman is just a matter of pleasure. A man can divorce his woman just by saying thrice, talaq, I divorce thee, I divorce thee, I divorce thee, and that is the end of the matter.
Yeah.
They tell a pack of lies. That order that regarded 4 wives is still in the Quran. It is legitimate. There are so many Hindus. They apparently become Muslims so that they can have more than 1 wife. I am not misleading them. They already know that.
No, what they say in India is that the issue of demography is, I mean, the way propaganda is done, the secular media, the way they propagandize is that the issue of population is not bound to religion. It is just that these people are poor and therefore they are breeding.
It is because the Hindu brethren, they don't have the guts to come to grip with them and they make excuses. The Hindu brethren, they don't have the guts to come to grip with them and they make excuses.
Rahul Baba says Gujarat is bigger than the United Kingdom.
Gujarat is bigger than the United Kingdom. Just to give you an idea.
And the Congress chamchas that gathered at Bhai Kaka Bhavan in Ahmedabad's Law Garden area just clapping. But the fact is that Gujarat is 196,024 square kilometer in United Kingdom is quite much bigger. Now check it out this. Rahul Baba says India is bigger than Europe and United States put together.
In fact, India is bigger than Europe and the United States put together.
No talis from Chamcha this time. Perhaps they all also know that India is not bigger than either Europe or United States alone. Forget put together. So if
वो लड़का कम से कम इतनी समझ रखता है कि अभी दावा नहीं करता है प्रधानमंत्री बनने की, वो उनकी मां बनाना चाहती है उसको, वो खुद नहीं बनना चाहती, बनना चाहता है मगर वो समझता है कि मैं नहीं बन सकता. क्यों? वो हीरोज लिमिटेशन के उसको फाइल पे नोट लिखना तो आवे प्राइम मिनिस्टर को नहीं आता उसको. क्या उसकी एजुकेशन क्या है, क्या उसका एक्सपीरियंस है, कुछ भी नहीं है. दैट मैन नोज नथिंग. मैं तो सवाल पूछा है उनसे कि बताओ कि भाई 5 वर्ष के अंदर बताओ तो कौन सी किताब तुमने पढ़े, कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटी से तुम डिग्री लेके आए हो, ये तो बताओ कम से कम. इलेक्शन कमिश्नर सबको कहते हैं कि टू डिस्क्लोज योर फाइनेंशियल एसेट्स। पहले तो इंटेलेक्चुअल एसेट्स की बात करो सर। डिस्क्लोज योर इंटेलेक्चुअल एसेट्स, व्हाट आर दे? 5-7 बरस के अंदर एक कोटेबल कोट कभी सुना है इनके भाषण में? और उनकी मां चाहती है कि फौरन ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर बने।
8 साल से अब हम सरकार में हैं और हमने बड़े बड़े काम करके दिखाया। आने वाले समय में हम आम आदमी के लिए और काम करने वाले हैं। और दिल्ली में है तो दिल्ली के बारे में कह देता हूं। शीला जी बैठी हैं, जेपी अग्रवाल जी बैठे हैं, आप सब बैठे हैं।
All right, on to other political news now. It's Gandhi versus Gandhi. Now BJP MP from Aonla in Uttar Pradesh, Menaka Gandhi, has slammed none other than Congress General Secretary Rahul Gandhi. She says Rahul Gandhi is immature for his remarks comparing the RSS and Simi. Menaka Gandhi called Rahul Gandhi immature. She was speaking during a survey of flood-devastated areas in Bareilly on Sunday. Menaka said that the RSS were patriots who worked for the welfare of the country. She added that to compare the RSS with an organization like the Simi, which conspired against the nation, was simply immature.
RSS के बारे में आप चाहे उनको माने या ना माने, लेकिन जब भी कोई आफत आती है सबसे पहले आरएसएस के लोग पहुंच जाते हैं। बहुत ही तगड़ेपन से देश की एकता और अखंडता के बारे में बोलते हैं। अब उनको एक ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ कंपेयर करना जो बॉम्ब फेंकते हैं, जो देश के खिलाफ साजिश करते हैं, जिनके लोग खुलेआम छाती ठोक करके कहते हैं कि वो देशद्रोही हैं, कि वो पाकिस्तान को चाहते हैं, ये कौन सा आप तुलना कर रहे हैं? ये तो खाली बचपना में हो सकता है।
Now let's listen into the controversial remark that led to Rahul Gandhi's aunt slamming him.
जो भी अंदर आना चाहता है आ जाए, हम अपनी मेंबरशिप फॉर्म अखबार में प्रिंट कर देंगे। क्रिमिनल ना हो बस, और विचारधारा उसकी ऐसी हो, कांग्रेस पार्टी जैसी हो, आरएसएस की ना हो, सिम्मी की ना हो।
न सोने का सरिया, कान में डंडा दे, कान में डंडा दे, तेरी कान में डंडा दे, ना बांस की बंसी न सोने का सरिया, कान में डंडा दे, तेरी कान में डंडा दे, तेरी कान में डंडा दे।
हमारे प्रोफेसर साहब बोल रहे थे तो बोले पॉलिटिकल बात नहीं होनी चाहिए, तो आप गुजरात वाला बात क्यों बोल रहे हैं? गुजरात में बिहारी स्टूडेंट को अरे भाई मारा जा रहा है। अच्छा भैया, केंद्र में है क्या करते हैं? महाराष्ट्र में कांग्रेस का सरकार है, क्या करती है बिहारी स्टूडेंटों के लिए? हेलो, नहीं मैंने गलती से, सॉरी, मैंने गलती से गुजरात बोल दिया बिहार के बजाय। हेलो सर, गलती से बोला है। ये क्वेश्चन करना है।
उधर भाषा की राजनीति पर राहुल गांधी भी घिर गए हैं। जी हां, बिहार के दरभंगा में राहुल गांधी की सभा में भारी हंगामा हुआ। राहुल ने गुजरात पर एक टिप्पणी क्या की, छात्रों ने आसमान सिर पर उठा लिया। राहुल गांधी दरभंगा के एल.एन. मिश्रा यूनिवर्सिटी में छात्रों से मुलाकात करने पहुंचे थे। सभा के दौरान उन्होंने कहा कि अगर देश को बदलना है तो पहले गुजरात को बदलो। छात्र इसी बात पर बेकाबू हो गए। बवाल इतना बढ़ा कि राहुल गांधी को सभा बीच में ही छोड़कर निकलना पड़ा।
यह है राहुल गांधी के दरबार की तस्वीर। जिसमें छात्रों के हंगामे ने सारी सीमाएं तोड़ दी। राहुल गांधी दरभंगा के एलएन मिथिला यूनिवर्सिटी में छात्रों से मुलाकात करने पहुंचे थे। बवाल की शुरुआत हुई राहुल गांधी के उस बयान से जिसमें उन्होंने देश को बदलने के लिए गुजरात बदलने की बात कही। राहुल के इस बयान पर छात्रों ने कुर्सियां उछालनी शुरू कर दी। आखिरकार राहुल को इसके लिए माफी मांगनी पड़ी।
गलती से गुजरात बोल दिया बिहार के बजाय।
लेकिन हंगामा यही नहीं रुका। राहुल ने सवाल पूछा था कि सबसे ज्यादा आईएएस और आईपीएस देने वाला राज्य अपने यहाँ अच्छा शासन क्यों नहीं चला पाता। छात्र इस सवाल पर भी भड़क उठे। छात्रों ने राहुल से पूछा कि महाराष्ट्र में सरकार चलाने वाली कांग्रेस बिहारियों के जान माल की रक्षा क्यों नहीं कर पा रही। जब छात्रों का बवाल बेकाबू हो गया तो सुरक्षाकर्मी राहुल गांधी को वहां से निकाल कर ले गए। प्रहलाद कुमार के साथ कुमार अभिषेक, दरभंगा, आज तक।
It wasn't the effect that Rahul Gandhi might have intended, but his remark on the people of Punjab have angered the Akali Dal. Rahul Gandhi evidently tried to pay compliment to the enterprise of the Punjabis, but it backfired, with the Akali Dal issuing a strong statement saying that the Congress General Secretary had insulted Punjabis the world over.
मेरी माता जी इटली से आई। इटली को पता आज कौन चला रहा है, उनके खेतों में पता है कौन काम करता है, बता सकते हैं मुझे? पंजाब के लोग। वहां जाके आपने काम शुरू किया। कनाडा में जाते हैं आप, इंग्लैंड में जाते हैं आप, अमेरिका में जाते हैं, और जब भी आपके लोग जाते हैं सफलता प्राप्त करते हैं। सही बात है, गलत बात करते हैं, सही है? तो आपको कैलिफोर्निया की क्या जरूरत है?
The Akali Dal said the remark was a deliberate and mischievous attempt to denigrate the Punjabis, since Rahul, instead of mentioning the achievements of Punjabis abroad, tried to allegedly put them on the lowest pedestal. The party has demanded an apology for insinuating a contrast between Sonia's position and the Punjabis working in Italy. In fact, on an earlier occasion, Rahul had got into a similar kind of trouble with his attempts to reach out to the voters.
As I told you on 9/11, I suddenly realized it was my task to make difficult books readable, which is what I've done on the back table. I sometimes describe myself as a man who reads big, thick, old books and writes modern, small books that anyone can understand. And actually, I rather enjoy it. I don't surf the web. People are disappointed when they run into me sometime and some other counter-jihadist, they go, "Have you seen my website?" No. I don't even go to my own website. I have very little interest in the web except for Craigslist and Yahoo headlines and Drudge. That's it. So I like reading big, thick, old books. I really do. But I thought when I got my books written, in which the Quran was easy to understand, here's Muhammad, easy to understand, all these books on Sharia and everything were easy to understand, I thought, we win. No, we don't even have game. Because what I discovered was, other than a minority view, and trust me, you are so minor, everyone else's reaction to the knowledge, to the answer to question, what is the true nature of Islam, react in fear, hatred, and anger. When I try to explain to people something about Islam, they're terrified. So I thought people would run when I got my books published, and indeed they did run away from me. So I thought there was just one great question. What is the true nature of Islam? But I found there was a second question more important. Why are we afraid to know Islam? Now, remember I told you about stories? Here's the thing. My books are factual. They work here. But in dealing with human beings, if you're going to make a sale, any salesman will tell you this, the facts are secondary to the feelings. And where you get feelings is from stories, amongst other places. And I began to think about, why is everyone so afraid even though they don't know anything? Well, it turns out they do know little figments of stories about Islam that involve violence. And the knowledge that they were into the slave trade does not come as a shock, really. So, remember I told you that the house of Sufism was like a palace with a smell coming up from the basement? Everyone smelled that smell. They just don't want to talk about it. But it's somewhere deep in the back, almost primordial mind. So, the problem is we don't know the history of Islam. We don't know the answer to this question. This is the world of Islam. How did it happen? You can ask very intelligent people, and they will not be able to give you the answer to this question. How did North Africa go from being European and Christian to becoming Arab and Muslim? How did that happen? And is that an important question? How did the Middle East go from being Christian to Muslim? And is that an important question? I think it's an overwhelmingly important question. All right. Now, to understand how that Islamic world came about, we're going to have to go about and see how Islam entered our world. Now, to do that, Islam entered the world of the Byzantine Empire. We know that in the Sirah, Muhammad's life, his last days were spent killing Christians and subjugating them. After he died, that process continued. So, let's describe the world that Islam invaded. Now, we're told that the Roman Empire collapsed when the German barbarians invaded Rome. Y'all heard that story? Well, that's false. That is not true. It is wrong. What happened was, after the German barbarian tribes invaded Rome, they set up their own version of the Roman Empire. They retained classical culture. They spoke Roman. They hired Roman philosophers and Roman attorneys to teach their children and to run their schools. They came into the Roman Empire not to destroy the empire, but just to get the goods for themselves. The eastern part of the empire, so-called Byzantine Empire, is over here. Now, this is after the German invasion. The important point is this: there was still a classical empire. It's not collapsed. Then, after the fall of Rome, the Byzantines gradually exerted their political influence till now this was the new form of the Roman Empire. This is the Byzantine Empire, and it is about to be invaded. This is the classical world that Islam invaded. Notice that the classical world is still up and running. It's critical to remember that. It was now weak, but it was still up and running. We're going to see what caused its collapse. Here we see in 25 years, 3 stages of development of the spread of Islam. This is 25 years' work. How is it that the Arabs were able to do to the Byzantine Empire what the Persians could not do in Iran? Here's the answer to that question. It has to do with Iran, actually. The Greeks and the Persians had been having wars since forever. All right? The 300 at Thermopylae, that was about the Persians. All right? Alexander the Great, he defeated the Persians. The Persians kept hammering on the Romans and then the Byzantines, and 25 years before Islam invaded, there was one massive last series of battles that left Persia weak and the Byzantine Empire very weak. Then comes along the Black Plague.